Hi everyone, this is Chef Mark and I'm with Colorado's Best Kitchens magazine. And I'm at Appliance Factory Fine Lines to share some cooking tips. Now in my home, we eat gluten-free. And we love spaghetti and meatballs, and that can pose a challenge. We don't use pasta, we just get rid of this. And we also don't use pasta substitutes. A lot of those, it just don't taste great. I do like the chickpea flour pasta, but sometimes we don't want that much starch. So we use spaghetti squash. This stuff is marvelous, but it's got a long cooking time. And I kind of developed a way to make this in just a few minutes, and that is through the magic of a convection microwave. This appliance is fantastic. It is both a microwave and an oven, and I've developed some tricks to make cooking something that usually takes 45 minutes to an hour just in a few minutes. I can make this whole meal just in 15 or 20 minutes. So I'm going to show you how. I'm also going to show you what makes a convection microwave so great. So let's get to work. Spaghetti squash are fantastic, but they're pretty tough to cut through. So what I like to do is cut off both ends first. Then when I stand it up, I have a nice flat surface to work with. And I'm just going to run my knife through this, exposing some seeds in the middle. I like to scrape out the seeds, and I'm going to cook them in a microwave for just 5 minutes. In a standard oven, it could take 45 minutes to an hour and a half. They really take a long time. And what I love about the microwave is that it's so accurate. When this is done cooking, they're going to have a nice, satisfying crunch and al dente-ness to them. Where in the oven, they tend to, in my opinion, get a little overcooked. So 5 minutes in the microwave is all it takes. Next are the meatballs, and this is a simple recipe. I like gluten-free breadcrumbs. I actually prefer these over standard breadcrumbs, so I always use them anyways. I've got some half and half, some eggs, some Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna fine dice an onion, some salt and pepper, and of course some ground beef. I prefer lean 93% ground beef. That way I can add more fat back in the cream, which also helps bind it. Let's get this combined. Okay, I have all my ingredients for my meatballs. Now it's time to go ahead and mix this together. I like to cook my meatballs separately from the sauce. It works great that way as well to, kind of cook the sauce and the meatballs together. That's delicious. But when I'm in a hurry because it's a weekday and we're trying to eat by a certain time, I find it's a lot quicker to kind of make everything independently. So I'm going to smush this together, raw meatballs, and get them in the oven. I'm going to use the oven in my convection microwave so that I can get that nice kind of caramelized flavor out of my meatballs using the same appliance. Let's get to work.
Good.
Okay, last meatball. Let's go get these in the oven. Okay, my spaghetti squash is ready to go. Now, I cook this right on the microwave plate to save a dish, and it doesn't get anything dirty. Now I'm gonna put my meatballs in there, and I'm gonna use the convection oven in the same appliance to cook my meatballs. $375. One of the advantages to this is the oven is already hot from using the microwave. So this is gonna heat up really quickly. I love these things. This convection microwave oven that I'm using happens to be a wall oven. Now they're also available in an OTR, over-the-range microwave. That's far more common in most kitchens. Let's go take a look at what one of those looks like. This is an over-the-range microwave. You might be familiar with this. You might even have one of these in your own home. This does several things. It's a microwave. It's also the vent and a light as well. Ask your salesperson about a convection microwave, because that will serve as a second oven in your kitchen, right above your range. Now, this is a smaller capacity oven. What I like about it is it doesn't take much time to preheat. You can put food in there, turn it on to the convection oven, and it works right away. One thing to keep in mind, most convection microwaves, when they run in oven mode, they run the fan automatically as well. So plan accordingly if it might be too noisy for you. Not every microwave is convection. They really look very similar, so you're going to need a salesperson to help guide you. The last thing I'm going to make is my tomato sauce. I'm going to make arrabbiata, spicy tomato sauce. And what I'm going to do is saute in some oil, some chili pepper flakes, a bay leaf, half an onion, 2 cloves of garlic, and some tomato sauce. I'm going to bring that to a simmer. I'm going to finish it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and then the secret ingredient, a half a stick of butter. For best results, I like to buy a can of whole tomatoes and then I crush them in the food processor before I add them to my sauteed onions, my garlic, I crush some pepper flakes and a bay leaf, pinch of salt and pepper too. We're going to bring this to a simmer. I'm just going to let it cook for about 5 minutes and it's all set. My spaghetti squash has been resting for about 15 minutes. I like to let it rest so that I can finish cooking. And it's still very hot, so I'm holding it with a towel to make sure that I don't burn myself. Now, what I'm going to do here is just scrape. And I want to be careful when I'm scraping that I don't puncture the skin. The skin is the vessel that we actually cook it in. And what that does is it kind of contains it. You can see here, we're starting to get those nice long pieces of spaghetti coming out of the squash. This does have a natural sweetness to it, so it pairs really well with a spicy tomato sauce. And you can see that we're getting quite a bit here. You're going to get a lot of volume out of one spaghetti squash. I do 1/2 for 5 minutes in the microwave, or if I'm cooking both of them, I do them for about 8 minutes. They'll cook in plenty of time. Some other nice things to do with spaghetti squash, they actually make a really nice dessert. Sprinkle some cinnamon sugar over them and serve that with ice cream. It's a really fun way to, fun and healthy dessert. I always say when you're scraping spaghetti squash, don't be a hero and try to get every little bit out, because if you accidentally get some of the skin in there, it's really crunchy, it's not edible, and it tastes terrible. So don't be a hero, just leave a little bit in there, just be safe. Okay, my tomato sauce has been cooking for about 5 minutes. I just really bring it up to a boil. I don't cook it very long because I want it to have a nice bright flavor. So I'm going to finish it with secret ingredient, half a stick of butter, and a decent amount of extra virgin olive oil. That's going to add some fat right at the end. I'm just going to stir that in off the heat. You don't want to boil butter. It will separate into its milk fats and milk solids. It'll kind of leave an oil slick in your food. And I'm just going to stir that in, and this is ready to go. The last thing we need to do is assemble dinner. All right, using the oven feature on my microwave, my meatballs are ready. Look at that. Can you believe that these are coming out of a microwave? They cook beautifully. So let's go ahead and assemble our dinner. I have everything ready. Using the speed and magic of a convection microwave, in a few minutes I've created everything I need to pull together a beautiful dinner. I am, of course, going to make it look fancy on a plate. Just like to make a nest of my spaghetti squash right in the middle of the plate. And I think, like I said, this is delicious. It doesn't really need that much. You can season it and butter it and oil it and salt and pepper. I don't think it's really necessary. I'm just going to nestle 2 meatballs. Let's go with 2 meatballs, so just like that. And then, of course, my sauce. Oh my gosh, my sauce is so good. It's got a nice heat to it with those pepper flakes. You know, you can make it as spicy as you like. I'm kind of a spice wimp. If you've been watching me for a while, you probably know that. So I just added about a teaspoon of pepper flakes. Gives it some nice heat. There we are. Then I'm going to garnish my food. Why not? I'm going to do just a little splash of balsamic glaze. I think that, again, it kind of brightens up and pulls together the dish. Plus, it looks great. Sprinkle of parsley, and then it wouldn't be a plate of noodles without more cheese. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more Parmesan cheese dusting right on top of the plate. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. I can't wait to eat this. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Chef Mark with Colorado's Best Kitchens magazine. Arrabbiata tomato sauce, spicy tomato sauce. I like to make
3, 2, 1.
The last thing I'm gonna make.
Yes.
Ugh. Okay.
That's good. 3, 2, 1.